Pounded by the earthquake, Christchurch's centre is littered with the remains of buildings that have been smashed. Rescuers are swarming over buildings as they hunt for people trapped inside. 200 were thought to be inside the Pine Guinness building when the quake struck. Plumes of smoke rise up from buildings that have caught fire. These aerial shots give a better idea of the vast areas of liquefaction where the land has been consumed by oozing mud and water. The Cathedral, an icon for many, escaped with minor damage in September. Seen from above, the damage from today's quake is clear.
7.2 is nothing compared to this. That was Tea Party stuff. Yeah, this is just unbelievable.
Locals describe the heart of the city that stopped beating when the quake struck. St John has called for all its night shift staff to report to a triage centre in Latimer Square. 3 helicopters are being sent from Dunedin with more medics to bolster their numbers. Another is flying from Wellington, and 32 clinical staff and managers are on their way from Auckland.
We're just waiting for them to clear that, that there's any structural damage that would put us at harm, and once we get that okay, then we'll head in and try and help some people. For the time being, we're just trying to accumulate any supplies that we can, and we've taken some from the stores around, and everyone's been very helpful.
The police, too, are sending reinforcements from all over the country. Major roads to Christchurch Hospital are open, and the central police station is up and running again after being evacuated earlier on. While the full scale of the disaster is only starting to be grasped in the city centre, even less is known about Lyttelton, the quake's epicentre. Lyttelton Tunnel has been closed and information from the suburb is scarce. Reports suggest Lyttelton and New Brighton are unlivable. Hundreds of people are gathering in Hagley Park, where they plan to spend the night. Makeshift hospitals have been set up, and hospitals around the South Island are being cleared to take casualties. Adam Ray, 3 News.
And we are coming back to more from Christchurch.
As we continue to move around, you'll see a white building, and then just behind that, that's where TVNZ is, where our newsroom's been destroyed. And as that shot continues around, you'll see a street there that's got dottings of destruction along it right there in the centre of the screen. Now, that's Manchester Street, which was quite badly damaged in the original quake, in fact, in September 4 quake. This here is the Catholic Cathedral, which is near Barbados Street, down the Morehouse Ave end of Barbados Street. And just there to the right of your frame is the Catholic Cathedral College. Looks to be a little bit of damage there too. This here is in the centre of the city, down again by Colombo Street and Morehouse Ave. This looks to be on top of the Smith City sort of building area. A car park there looks to be terribly destroyed, and just there in that top left of frame was South City. This here's the road that takes you from Sumner through Lyttelton. It is known as Sumner Road. As we cruise around, you will see the time ball station, which is on the air, is there on the entrance to Lyttelton, which looks to be destroyed. This is back over the Christchurch CBD. This is Hagley Park, which you can see is being used as a bit of a base for the helicopters. It usually is used for the Westpac rescue helicopter anyway. This is between the hospital and the netball courts, just there on Hagley Ave.
Paul Stenhouse there with an aerial view of just how bad things are.
Take to the streets. This time it's worse. They work frantically to free the trapped. Some emerging hurt, but alive. Others didn't make it.
We started pulling bricks from there to about 20 minutes to get a few tonne of bricks off there, and unfortunately the 2 people that were inside the building were deceased.
From the window of this 17-storey building, rescuers take desperate measures to get workers out. A collapsed stairwell trapping staff inside.
Absolutely frightening. It was by far and away the roughest ride we've ever had, and we're pretty good at bloody living through earthquakes.
The fire service says some won't make it out until tomorrow. At the heart of the city, the 110-year-old cathedral, damaged in the last quake, is now in ruins. Christchurch is enveloped in dust. And fire becomes the next threat. The air is quickly filled with choppers. Buildings cut in half, twisted, completely reduced to rubble. No part of the central city is spared. Pouring out of offices, taking what they can, hundreds gather on open ground. Welcome company, but the shaking has taken its toll. Makeshift hospitals are quickly set up to deal with the onslaught of injured, while officials scramble to demolish damaged buildings, anxious to avoid further tragedy. Huge cracks now scatter the city, and swirling pools of mud rise up, the weird effects of liquefaction.
The floor's trembling.
Outer Christchurch hasn't escaped. In Sumner, the RSA is levelled. It's not clear whether anyone was inside. Christchurch tonight is a city destroyed. Its people are in shock, turning to each other in the dust and ashes.
Well, as we mentioned earlier, Christchurch Airport is closed today. To see what that means further afield and here in Auckland, I'm joined now live by Amy Kelly from Auckland Airport. Amy, what has been the knock-on effect?
Well, basically, Greg, there's a huge backlog of people who are still waiting to travel to and from Christchurch. The airport has been closed for some time as operations staff do an inspection of the tarmac, of the infrastructure to make sure that it's absolutely safe. And we've just had word that Christchurch Airport hopes to open at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning.
5 minutes after the big quake, and there is someone trapped up in the glass there. They're just sitting out of the window. Hopefully they're okay. Look at this. Look at this, and I'm sure there's some people over there. It's just huge. It is huge, and the buildings are buildings. The really important thing are the people.
The great cathedral was unscathed by last September's quake, standing proud among those ruins. It became a symbol of the city's determination to survive whatever nature threw at it. Not this time.
People just falling on me. Yeah, so.
The cathedral is a significant tourist attraction. People constantly climbing the tower for the view.
When I got here earlier on, the witness was out here. Actually, when the shocks happened, there was people up in the tower. That's full of rubble. That probably passed away.
Inside the main body of the church, worshippers are often here during the day. This television crew found nothing but wreckage.
Unbelievable. The whole site is completely caved in where the tower was.
And after last year's earthquake, engineers certified the building as safe.
We are going to take you live now to Wellington, where the Civil Defence Minister John Carter is holding a media briefing.
Discuss the earthquake in Canterbury. In the last few hours, the scale of the destruction has become increasingly apparent, as has the scale of the potential loss of life. I've just spoken to the Prime Minister, who's emphasised the utter devastation that he's seeing there and described the ongoing aftershocks as violent. So it is likely that we're looking at one of New Zealand's darkest days.